holiness of God, pure and holy. Pure and holy are words that possibly for 100 lifetimes or so you never thought that those words would be part of the declaration of who you are, what you are. Holy, innocent, perfect. To accept it is humility. The ego would try to convince that to accept that you are holy and innocent and perfect is arrogant, that it's boasting of something. But you really can't boast about holiness and innocence and perfection. You didn't make it. You didn't create it. You are the created perfection. You can extend that awareness that everything that is love, is perfection, is the holiness of God, the innocence. Everything already is. There's no competition. There's no front to back, good to bad, good and better, and comparisons and levels and degrees. All of that disappears because it has no reality. How can perfection have levels and degrees? How can innocence, pure innocence, have levels and degrees? Levels and degrees and comparisons were all produced to have enemies. If you compare yourself to another, immediately they are your enemy. They're either better or they're worse or they're different or how you should be or how you're glad you're not. Whatever the comparison is, whatever the levels and degrees are, whatever the story is that goes with it, has no truth to it. It's just been fabricated as an idea based on what you think you know. So it's letting it all go and really accepting innocence, perfection, holiness, everything that you could possibly open to and remember as God, you are everything. Everything that is still unknown to you because you can't be in the world in a very deep way and go into the depths of the mysteries. But they will come because the world gets more and more see-through, begins to not fade at all, but brighten because the Spirit is showing through everything. And then you begin to see that everything has that same holiness, same innocence, same perfection. It's so essential to remember that it is humility that accepts. perfection. And the humility truly comes because the recognition is there that you didn't make the perfection. You are the perfection. And to accept God's creation is to honor the truth of God, because you are that perfection. So in this moment, there's a hymn that hasn't been brought into light for a while. I am Mary of conception. I am seeking to open your heart, offering my love and guidance as your suffering world comes apart. Bring your pain like a flower to open. Bring your sorrow to place at my feet. Tears that are watering my garden, in the river of Jordan will meet. Oh, my children, I seek your surrender. Both the path and the message are clear. My Saint John is walking beside you, holding your hand through this fear. Keep your strength as you seek to be humble. Let the power that guides you reveal all the blessings of my holy rapture, confirming you know what is real. As your suffering world comes apart, most of everyone in the world unconsciously runs as the world seems to fall apart. Runs the other direction, runs away, thinking that they've lost control and they never had control. But in the spiritual conscious journey, there truly is an awareness and even a celebration that your suffering world comes apart, that all the pieces and parts of all the identities and connections, they all start to open and let go. And the mind starts being released from all the beliefs of the past. And the suffering world is coming apart. It's nothing to be afraid of. It is certainly something that requires faith, trust, and even a welcome. The welcome of the grace of healing. And not knowing even what it will all look like. But in that faith, in that trust, the heart is released. Because it is through faith and trust that the heart opens. If you have faith in the divine, in love, in the promise, then you have faith that the outcome will be in perfection. And you hold that. And every day is a yes to the suffering world coming apart. Bring your pain like a flower to open. Bring your sorrow to place at my feet. Just feel the comfort in this invitation, the comfort of placing everything at the feet of the Divine Mother and letting it all go, trusting that it's held lovingly, completely, and that the healing is guaranteed because you are willing to be healed and you've said yes. So that's the place of comfort. That's the place that says, yes, I'll bring my sorrow to place at your feet, Divine Mother. I'll bring everything to place at your feet. And I will place my heart at your feet. And I will give you my mind as well. And invite that healing because it's reality, it's truth. It's the transformation that is every moment coming closer and closer. Keep your strength as you seek to be humble. Keep your strength as you seek to be humble, because so many beloveds have a distorted idea of humility. It's as if you're going to be a weakling. You're going to be a wimp because you humbly give yourself to God. But in truth, in humility of I don't know is all the strength, because you gather the strength of God. God's strength comes through you. It's not a singular strength. It's not your own strength. It is the strength of the universe. It is the strength of love. And you invite it, and you keep that strength even as you walk in the world in humbly wanting to offer love. Humbly, because there's nothing to gain, there's nothing to win. It's just the offering of love. And how essential that truly is. Holy, 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 the power of the divine Holy Spirit and our Blessed Mother. It is the power of our Divine Father that comes to celebrate within our heart. Here, in this moment, one must see and one must hear with the heart what the Divine Holy Spirit brings for healing. It is the hour for love to shine. This is the road back to love, and now I come to help all beloveds to return to the truth, for all forever to sing, to praise, and to adore all of love. Holy, 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 this is the house of the divine for all to remember and to embrace, and forever to sing the truth of love. Santo, 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 o poder de nosso Pai, o Divino Espírito Santo e a Virgem nossa Mãe, e o poder de nosso Pai que vem celebrar dentro dos corações, aqui nesta missão, há que ver, há que ouvir, que o Divino Espírito Santo a trazer os corações. E agora chegou a batalha e a hora do amor para resplandecer. Esta é a missão que agora venho cumprir, trazer aos meus irmãos o bem-estar da salvação, para todos para sempre cantar, para louvar e louvar a Jesus Salvador. Santo, 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 esta casa do Santo Cruzeiro, para todos pedir o perdão e alcançar a salvação, para todos para sempre cantar, adorar e louvar a Jesus Salvador. Para todos para sempre cantar, adorar e louvar a Jesus Salvador. When you feel the vibration of this hymn, it's meant to stir your heart. It's meant to shake your heart in its vibration, opening up the walls, opening up the space around the heart chakra and letting the radiant life force of the heart open and radiate outward. Imagine that you've held protection around your heart for lifetime after lifetime. Everybody has. Everybody said protect, defend. And the vibration of love is calling to you. Place sorrow at the feet of the Divine Mother and to praise holy, holy, holy in the vibration of love. I say yes to forever, ever praise and sing the name of love. How perfect, how innocent, how peaceful. Only love. Holy, holy, holy. Someone should start laughing. I have 1,000 brilliant lies for the question, how are you? I have 1,000 brilliant lies for the question, what is God? If you think that the truth can be known from words, if you think that the sun and the ocean can pass through that tiny opening called the mouth, someone should start laughing. Someone should wildly start laughing now. Because everybody has those 1,000 brilliant lies of the question, what is God? And how are you? At some point, every beloved will discover that there's only one answer to how are you, which is perfect, because you are perfect. In God's light, nothing else is true, just the perfection of all creation. You are perfect. And then the question is answered forever. And the truth cannot be known just from words. The words can stimulate, they can stir, they can direct. But your inner communion with the divine is where your healing truly exists. The inner chamber of love that receives and communes with the divine, that disappears into the divine, even if it's just for a second, disappearing into the truth of love, willing to disappear, willing and wanting to go into the arms of love and disappear. Not because you're escaping, not because you're afraid, not because you're running, but because it's coming home into the oneness of love and the willingness to melt there for just a moment and accept that you are the perfection of God's love. How do you get to the place where you're able to make that inner communion become alive for you, where it becomes what you anticipate, not from a thought of what it's going to be like, but that when you found yourself without being with God, that you yearn for it, that you can feel that there's a missing link because you stepped into the world on your own and forgot for a moment that you're the light of God. The journey of love is one that is ultimately the deepest commitment that you could ever make to anything. But a commitment to love is not a burden of any kind. The commitment to love is actually expressing love to yourself by the very expression of that commitment. That is the most loving element that you could offer to yourself. The commitment to love is saying, I found love. Just in the commitment to love, I found love. Because no one would make the commitment to love without it being a self-love. That you value you so much that you commit finding love. You commit to it because it is the truly loving offering. There's a teaching that says when you are healed, thousands heal with you. And it's absolutely true. You carry Everyone carries a belief system of separation that touches circle after circle of connections over lifetimes. And your own healing is dependent on that you see all those beloveds as the innocent light of God. So as you see them all as the innocent light of God and you invite them into your heart, it becomes your own healing, but it becomes their healing also. The power of your mind and heart is the power of the universe, the power of God itself. So you have the power within you to heal within with your yes, but also to bring every beloved with you. And time is not a factor because their healing is without time. So you can't judge when their healing occurs or not, but it's guaranteed that it will occur. It's the natural law of love that healing occurs. That when you say yes, there is a cause and effect to your yes. But your yes is being called to be held in a constant, because it is the constant that breaks the veil of separation. When you go back and forth between the two, which is what everybody does until a certain place that you can't do it anymore, not because somebody is stopping you, but because you can't abide it anymore and you stay in the truth of love because it's where you belong. But to get there is a calling to bring the teachings of love into your everyday, because that's where the transformation actually occurs. It takes a dedication, and every beloved who walks a spiritual journey consciously has that dedication. Maybe sometimes it develops and expands as you learn more and more that you want to be at peace, that you truly want to see through love, and that you want to be in joy because it's your natural state. So every teaching becomes a calling to bring help into form so that you can use it all day long. All day long, you have the opportunity in this school of love to bring the spiritual teachings into manifestation through each situation. And when you're seemingly alone, without another body in the room or in the house, then it's still that opportunity of using the same teachings even in the quiet when you're not with others, because every thought that you have is developing your belief of the moment. Every thought that you have is saying you are either aligned with God or you are dancing with the ego to try to control something, or just out of old habits. But love keeps on calling you to form the help by using the teachings all day long. There's a beautiful phrase that I never heard in any other place except spiritually, that your spiritual teachings are part of your problem-solving repertoire. problem-solving repertoire. It's like you reach in and find the teaching that will bring medicine to whatever you are believing or whatever the situation seems to be. That there is a divine order of truth, that if you take that medicine, whatever situation seems to be a problem, it becomes healed because you're bringing the truth to it. And that's all that you want. You want that truth to come and show you the way. When you're learning and studying and imbibing a teaching, no matter if it's through a hymn or it's through a prayer, or it's through a written word, whatever, however, meditation, however it is, when you receive an awareness or a teaching that's already aligned, don't lay it down. Don't read it, repeat it, and then lay it down. Take that teaching with you into your everyday. Take all the teachings that you're working with, whatever they are, take them and use them all day long. They are the doorway to your peace through whatever the situation is. It doesn't matter what the situation is. You have an opportunity to use a teaching for learning, for application in a situation, and then you get to see it manifest into the hearts of all those that you are serving, and your heart will be affected for sure. But how important it is to use those teachings all day long. Don't lay them down, because then they're just, oh yeah, that, but to take it with you. This is what, when beloveds use prayer beads or some type of rosary, which are just prayer beads, what is that for? It's only to keep their mind focused on what learning they have. And the beads become their remembering point so that their mind doesn't wander away from the truth. To keep coming back. Keep coming back. Every decision you make stems from what it represents, the value of who you are. Every decision. Just imagine that when you're thinking during the day, that you can ask, is this loving? Is this a loving thought? And if it isn't, then surrender to God. Surrender it into the bonfire of love, because it isn't the truth of you, and it has no value, no purpose. And trusting that it has no value and no purpose because it isn't love, is giving everything over. And just being released into the freedom of love. No longer willing to play the game of the habits of the past. We have all come to the right place. We all sit in God's classroom. Now the only thing left for us to do, dear one, is to stop throwing spitballs. Because the classroom is the place of love. it's every moment of every day that this classroom is available. It isn't that it's a burden. It isn't that you have to suffer with it. It's that it gives you the opportunity, when you see it through the classroom of love, that that's what you're here for. That's what your purpose is to remember and to bring that love to all the beloveds that are walking a little ways behind you. To spend all day in learning is not to escape from the world, because while you're learning to love in the world. That's where actually the transformation is that because we walk in the world, bringing love to the world is the healing of everything. But it takes that consistency, it takes the humility, and it takes the wanting to offer that love. I used to ask myself questions. How many times a day was I in touch with the truth? Now, it wasn't a contest. It wasn't a grade test of any kind, but it was a place of honesty within. How many times a day did I find myself in touch with the truth, as deeply as I could find myself in touch with the truth? And I would ask myself those questions at night to reaffirm myself the next day and that night that I wanted to be in touch with the truth always, so I could open that door and invite in the truth more and more and more, because I truly wanted it. How many times a day did I think of my own ego? Was I concerned about self-preservation? And the beauty of that was to truly surrender all ideas of needing to be defended or self-preserving. What was I preserving? What was I protecting? And the willingness to let go of the ownership of personal and open and expand into the collective wholeness of all love. Had I allowed Spirit to show the pain of my lies to myself, because I lied to myself all the time, just like everybody did. Everybody continues to do so many times because it's what's known. The lies of the ego are seductive because they give you a sense that you're going to be somehow protected by them. And then you realize that it's like shooting yourself in the foot, because when you lie to yourself, you're not aware of the honesty of what's most helpful. So turning over all the lies of the past, asking your prayers to see everything that is in the way. It makes it very simple. If you just pray and say, just show me what's in the way. If it's helpful, I want to see it. If it's not helpful, you decide, but I'm willing to shine the light on everything that's in the way of love. And the Holy Spirit will show you what's most helpful to see. If there's anything to see. If there's nothing to see, then you just wait and for the next step. But almost everybody has something that they are pushing away and that is in the way because it's being pushed away. So this is the moment for love to shine and to not hide from what's been hidden in the past. All the thoughts of self-loathing, all the thoughts of comparisons, differences. Show me whatever is in the way. Show me. I'm willing. And let the Holy Spirit really show you. The cleansing of transformation is yours. It's all in the willingness. It's all in your yes. It's all in the not knowing. Because everything that the Holy Spirit would show you for healing has only been there because you thought you knew. So now it's time to let go of the knowing and empty so that love can fill the space, your natural state of love that encompasses everything. Why carry a whole load of books upon your back climbing the mountain when tonight just a few thoughts of God will light the holy fire? There is this heavy burden of carrying the books, the load, the idea of being burdened with thought, with past habits. And just a few thoughts of God will light the holy fire. And there is no need to carry the burden of hardship. Just put all thoughts into the light of God. Be the holy creation. Be the holy innocence. Be the light. It is what you are.